looking at the index, it's up again. What's behind the increase?
You know, Cindy, our survey of supply managers for the month of March, this is for the 9 states, what we call the MidAmerica region, it's the leading economic indicator for March, was up again. This index is very strong, and it's much stronger than what we're seeing in the national economy. What's driving a lot of it is exports. Exports, agriculture, and then energy. Actually, energy is contributing to the growth in this part of the country. So it's a very good report. The national number that's going to come out this week is going to be pretty good. Not as good as our number, though. So this regional economy is really expanding. I think it's going to continue well into the elections, unfortunately, I guess, for those who are counting on maybe a weaker economy.
Well, that you mentioned the gap between the strength in the U.S. and the MidAmerica economy. Really, what are the differences? There are a few.
Oh, absolutely, Cindy. The higher energy prices are having more of a negative impact on the national economy. We've got a housing sector that continues to weigh on the national economy, not on the regional economy, the economy we're surveying. And of course, then you got agriculture and exports, which are really continuing to be strong. For example, agricultural equipment manufacturers. If you're making products, manufacturing goods for the farm, you're doing very well. Even on the non-equipment side, the Monsantos, the softer side of the agricultural providers, doing very well. So this is a good report. I think unemployment rates are going to continue to come down over the next few months, and that, of course, is very good.
The new jobs index for the region is up again, I think for the 3rd time, but some supply managers are saying they're having problems.
We're seeing supply managers out there reporting they're having a difficult time finding and hiring skilled workers. Now, this is skilled workers, not unskilled workers, particularly in durable goods manufacturing. That would be heavy manufacturing. So we're seeing that particularly, say, in Oklahoma, particularly in North Dakota, somewhat less so in Nebraska, but still in Nebraska, Iowa, South Dakota. Not as much in Arkansas and Kansas and Missouri, but nonetheless, we're seeing real difficulty in hiring those very high-skilled workers, and particularly in manufacturing. And that we're seeing that in our surveys, and I think it's going to show up in the national surveys in the months ahead. As demonstrated in the graph here, back in 2009, both the national and the Mid-American economy, the Mid-American economy in red, the national economy in blue, we hit a real downturn and significant low point in 2009. Since then, it's rebounded. Last year at this time, we saw a dip. Now this time, we're seeing growth, and we're seeing that growth up significantly. And as you see by the red line there, again, which tracks the Mid-America region, it's up, and it's up briskly from earlier this year and the last part of 2011. I expect that to continue as we see the economy expanding, growing from exports, growing from farm income, healthy farm income, and even growing from energy in North Dakota and Oklahoma particularly.
Well, and talking about that, how about the confidence among the supply managers? You
know, Cindy, despite the fact that we're seeing at the national level, seeing higher gasoline prices and higher fuel prices, we're seeing confidence rising, and of course that's because of lower unemployment rates at the national level. We're seeing a growing economy, and that's very positive. On the flip side, this month we asked the supply managers how their providers, their suppliers, are dealing with higher energy prices. 72% of our survey participants indicated that they were getting surcharges on their invoices. So the providers to companies that we survey, again, 72% are indicating surcharges. We're seeing that on their invoices. So that's a concern going forward, because we're seeing it now on prices. Our inflation gauge is up significantly. We're seeing significant inflationary pressures at the wholesale level now, but these are inflationary pressures. The Federal Reserve that says they're going to wait till 2014 to raise interest rates, not going to happen. They're going to raise it well before 2014. Could even be as early as 2012, but more likely somewhere in the first half of 2013, in my judgment, because this economy is continuing to expand. Of course, there are roadblocks out there, and we've got the massive tax increase that goes into effect January 1 of 2013. Now that, of course, is a real economic headwind. We'll see what happens with the elections in November. The survey inventory, we saw inventory accumulation. Of course, that's because the supply managers are expecting the economy to expand, so they're accumulating inventories, and they'll see that in greater production in the months ahead. It was, and again, as we pointed out earlier, talking about exports with a cheap dollar that's being driven, we're seeing a lot of growth there. This is spilling back over into the companies that we survey, to the companies that we don't survey, which will show up in the government data later on. This Friday, April the 6th, we'll see the government employment report. I think it's going to be a pretty good employment report. The unemployment rate may remain a bit high, or it's going to remain high, but the jobs created is probably going to be reasonably good.